Brian and Danny Chick, plus Chris Anderson, whichever one happens to show up. Will the world survive more Chris's than Chicks? We're about to find out. It's Two Chicks and a Chris, part of Discover Muscatine. Now here's Brian.
Hello, Muscatine, and welcome to this week's episode of the Muscatine Today Show with Two Chicks and a Chris.
Wait. You can't count.
I can count.
No, it's not. There's how many do we have?
Well, this week we have more Chris's than Chicks, by the way. We have Brian Chick, Danny Chick, Chris Anderson, and Chris Marsiglio from Capone's on this week. But anyway, Danny, what's happening in the city and the county this week? Anything good?
I don't think there's much bad going on. I think with the weather warming up, they're going to get back to some of these construction projects that drive people crazy, but they are wrapping up a few of them.
So we're on shutdown mode.
We'll be back
Detour mode.
We'll be back on Detour and shutdown mode. And, there's been a lot of good things coming for growth in Muscatine with some a lot of projects, anywhere from possible data centers to possible dairy facilities, and there's a lot of
eggplants.
No eggplants,
chickens.
But I heard we quit killing chickens, so the price of eggs are going down.
Wait, you kill chickens?
I've
killed
chickens.
a couple.
That's our last name. Come on now.
I've killed a couple.
Don't be too chickless, Chris.
So catch me up on something, Chris. The other Chris, not the other Chris Anderson. Swung by and got some footage of the work that's been going on at the courthouse. Could you kind of catch us up? Because I know we've been working on it a long time. I know it's a huge project, but where's that kind of at?
It's about a $3 million project. They are more active and getting going now that the weather warmed up on it. And the last I got told a meeting or two ago is that the complete project scaffolding should be down in May.
I thought that was just part of the.
I thought it was
just a new look.
I thought it was supposed to be November. Then I heard January. So
just leave it up.
They could have just gold plated it and it would have matched.
It's yellow scaffolding, isn't it?
That new copper look. I mean, it's starting to look pretty sharp.
I haven't had, I've looked at it, but the couple times I've tried it was cloudy and you know what I mean.
And it should look sharp. It's about a $3 million project, so it's a lot of.
Does that include
money
the scaffolding?
That includes the scaffolding.
Scaffolding
up and down, which isn't a cheap venture.
Does scaffolding stay or does it go away?
So here's the thing, though: is it still what you agreed to originally, or did it get changed?
So it got changed several times.
It did.
So you got a part of the contract that allows you to make some change orders. So as you dig into different parts of the roof and they find more damage or they find more issues, they'll issue a change order that the Board of Supervisors will have to approve if they want that part replaced, because they'll get underneath the roofing and you'll see that everything's damaged and you'll have to fix it.
How much of the $3 million did you have to pay up front? Because it got stalled for quite a while. They go on vacation first, or
I think they took the winter off. If you ask me, every time 10 times I drove by, I'd look up there. I'd never see anybody working.
50% up front.
I think they travel, so they show up on Tuesday and they get ready on Wednesday, and then I think they travel back home on Thursday.
Okay. Wait, and you signed off on us paying for that?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I thought didn't you just give me this big old thing off camera?
I might have been involved.
Look at the grid. Look at the grid. That tells you everything you need to know.
I might have been involved in signing up for it, but
was it like this?
I expected they'd show up to work every day.
Okay,
but they are back at it now, and I don't think the amount that we paid had anything to do with it. Didn't increase. The bid was what it was, so them taking longer, we don't pay more.
What about you pay less if they don't meet the deadline? That's how most projects work. Is you get fined for not meeting your deadline.
You should have put a contingency in the deadline or in the contract, or you put in the contract that if you meet this,
there's a bonus. Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like you could use a carrot to incentivize people instead of a carrot, not a tariff.
I thought you said a tariff.
No, not a tariff. No. We're not going into economics.
Did you say a carrot?
A carrot. Yeah, you use a carrot. It's the whole donkey stick.
I thought we
metaphor.
were doing tariffs on it.
25%, 50%.
Yeah, no. But and this is something that totally off subject, but I've talked about this often, where when you want downtown business building owners to do something, use a carrot instead of a stick, right? Show that you know where they need to go. You're going the same place and give them an incentive, because business owners will do it, right? So yeah, carrots. Good
I
idea,
kinda
Danny.
like the
Great
tariff.
idea, Danny.
Tariff.
I seriously, have I ever said that
Chris
before?
said put a tariff on them.
I did. I
But anyway,
absolutely.
the
did.
chamber's been doing some great work. They do have a lot of
Upstairs? You talking
Yeah.
about the same one I'm
I'm
thinking
talking
of?
about the same one you're talking about. They do have a lot of new connections on a lot of companies and growth that because if it all comes together, it should bring a lot of additional jobs to Muscatine and a lot of additional tax revenue with with property taxes for these businesses. So hopefully, and there's a couple projects that the city's working on with maybe using some possibility of using some TIF, which essentially is a loan from the city to build some infrastructure, to build some housing complexes going forward. And the council hasn't approved that yet, so they'll have to get that presented to them and possibly approve it. But there's a lot of good things happening.
Yeah.
No,
And
on
hopefully
its
they-
tip.
Let's take just a second so we can get Chris's video out so they can see.
Oh yeah, no, that's going to be going over. No, I'll be
Okay.
playing that over. It's fine.
All right, we've got
No,
the
we got
video
Chris.
going.
No, we got this in care of.
Okay, we
But-
got the video.
So, for those that don't know what TIFs are, TIFs function as a loan that doesn't get paid back if they meet certain criteria. Correct?
Tax
General-
credits, I think.
Or yeah, correct. I mean, like
It's typically set up that over a duration of time, the TIP money will all be paid back. Like the county's currently sitting on 2 TIP projects. Usually counties don't. It's usually a city deal. Counties has a lot more restrictions on what they can use TIP for. But the county has one for SSAB, which is about paid. They've about paid us back, and the other one is for Van Meter up there off the bypass. There was some water infrastructure, I think and they've got a couple more years, and the county will be paid back. The city has more leniency on doing TIP for some other projects.
So I get in a lot of management meetings now, and Muscatine give out 20 building permits last year.
They gave out 20 billion.
20 building permits. I don't know if we can fact check that or not.
yeah, I'll fact check it.
But and like Muscatine's trying to grow so bad, but like I heard Johnson County had a slow year at $100 million last year. So are we trying to be Johnson County, or what are we trying to be?
Well,
Why do they do better than Muscatine County?
well, I think that just their proximity to the university and the college and the hospitals and stuff like that, I think helps that area.
But they got a Chick-fil-A.
Well, we are.
Why don't you guys have a Chick-fil-A?
We are actively trying to get a Chick-fil-A, so hopefully
Why don't they
that's-
want to come here?
Hopefully that's coming. They brought the trailer a few times to do some studies. It's went well. So I think Chick-fil-A does want to come here. I just don't think it happens like anything else overnight. It takes some
Yeah.
time. So we might end up with a Chick-fil-A eventually.
Okay, couple great things in Muscatine. Deep Lakes Park.
Adding a campground.
Another like positive
I was down at
thing.
the groundbreaking ceremony. I think it was a week ago, last Monday, about a week ago. That's going to be a nice facility that's going to be addition to Salisbury as the one campground the county has. This will be the second one that will be tied into Deep Lakes with our swimming area, the trail system down there. It's going to be right on 41st Street.
So
And we broke ground the other day, and I don't think
How many camping spots?
I think it's around 50 if I remember.
50, that's pretty good.
40 or 50.
It's good.
So did we get a chance to talk last time about the stocking of Weed Park?
No, we're going to cover that.
So this is one other thing that's cool. I got this from Rich Climbs. And I'm not a fisherman, so nobody quote me on any of this, but basically the DNR is going to stock the lagoon at Weed Park with a crap ton of fish. And there's 3 different kinds, and there's like 3 different stocking periods, like this spring, this fall, and next spring. And so then historically, obviously that would cost to do, but the DNR is going to do for free if the city changed their rules on only kids under 14 could fish, which, I mean, I don't know why an adult couldn't fish there.
So they put more than sunfish in there? That's all you used to be able to catch?
It's probably going to be bass, catfish, and bluegill, I assume.
I think something like that. I can pull it up.
What?
Can you make a meal out of it?
Why would adults want to fish?
Them small ponds like Discovery Park, it's more geared towards kids because they're not big enough to sustain a large fish base. So a lot of times you're catching little bluegills, though. It's hard for those little areas to develop and maintain bigger fish. Somebody catches a pound catfish, they'll take it out so it's hard for them to grow up and be a daddy.
Perfect. Another thing is the Muscatine County Fair, getting their building. But one quick question, Muscatine County, why isn't the county fair in Muscatine? Why is it in West Liberty?
That's a really long story that goes back a long way. Because that's actually the oldest.
It's one of the oldest one, or the oldest.
It is the oldest county fairgrounds in the state of Iowa. Here's what I would say. Why isn't it in Muscatine? It's back to dust. Who knows why? But for crying out loud, West Liberty is 13 minutes from my door. It's okay. I can get to the fairgrounds because we broadcast up there and all that all the time. I can get there faster than I can get down to the south end of town. So
would it be a bigger fair if it was in Muscatine with more restaurants and all that around it rather than Tyson's Foods? Or
I don't.
Would it be bigger like the Mississippi Valley if it was here in town?
No, it wouldn't be Mississippi Valley. And here would be my question is the number of businesses like Kent, Hy-Vee, they're all huge sponsors of the fair, right? Like, and so my question is like, why don't we drive 10 minutes, 12, 14 minutes to get to the fairgrounds? You know what I mean? Like,
the fair numbers the last several years have continued to come up. We got a new director out there. I think her name's Kelsey Myers.
Kelsey and I work very closely together.
Kelsey has done an amazing job. They basically become self-sustainable on their debt. She's about got it all paid off. The county does help every year, but we've been lowering that money a little bit because they're making money. This community center is the $2 million project. The old one's it's way past its lifespan. That's going to be a parking lot eventually. The new one will be sitting behind that, and 4-H, FFA will be in there. They'll be able to have wedding receptions. It'd be one of the largest ones in our area. They've gotten a few months ago, they had reached over $1 million out of the $2 million from donations. A lot of people that have went to the fair over the years have donated money. A lot of farmers, a lot of people that show animals. GPC was the biggest donor. I forget that number. I think it was $500,000. So Kent Feeds,
250 or half.
They can.
I was there and covered it, and I apologize.
Gage Kent and what he does for the community with GPC and donating money, and that usually goes through Rich Dreyer, which is their public relation guy. We would not be where we're at if they don't build these new places in Muscatine. So, me and Brian got locked out at GPC and back in 2008. You still got to be smart enough to recognize that they're a great asset to the community and what they do is great. Hy-Vee was their most recent donor. Hy-Vee the other day gave $150,000.
Which, now that it's public, we can also, I think that was one of Matt Schweitzer's last official acts with Hy-Vee, because he will be retiring. Oh, geez, it's just a couple of weeks.
Matt, well, he's only like 50.
He's actually, I think he's my age. A year
72?
Older. Yeah, something like that. No, okay. So Matt and I have become pretty good friends over the years, and I give him more shit than I give Danny, if anybody can believe that. But I do want to actually say something sincere for once. I think I can do this. I want to sincerely thank Matt Schweitzer for what he's done in Muscatine, how involved he's had Hy-Vee, because not every Hy-Vee store is like that, right? It's 100% because of Matt. And he did a tremendous job growing the Hy-Vee presence in the area with all the small pharmacies and the all that stuff, the Main Street store, all those things. So Muscatine, if you see Matt Schweitzer somewhere, tell him thank you, and then kick him in the shin for me.
Yeah, but Matt is a workhorse. I mean, he's always tried to think of every way to make money, and he ran the clamshell next to Contrary for a while. So Matt wasn't afraid to do anything. And again, I know I bring up Jingle and Mingle a lot, but when we took that over 3 years ago, we had 3 weeks to do it. I said, Matt, I need hot chocolate. And 2 guys came together. Matt said, yep, we'll do it. Just get me hot water. And I'm like, how in the hell do I don't even know how many gallons of hot water on 2nd Street in the middle of December.
And I ran into a guy named Brian Chick who said, hey, you know what? We got a laundromat with a big hot water heater. And actually, so I guess 3 guys. And then Tim Kelly rigged this
8,000
foot hose, and we like crank it out. We roll it out. Matt pulls in with his trailer. None of us have any idea what the heck's going to happen, because it'd been really small. And like, I think that first year we had like almost 5,000 people here is what they estimated. And, it was a Hy-Vee thing. There was a handful of people that first year, just no questions asked. What do we need to do for the community? And Matt was one of them. And Brian.
Yep, Matt will be missed there. I heard he's staying in the community though, so
he's going to drive bus.
He's going to a school bus or the Musca bus.
This is hilarious. No, school bus. So we're up at PV for one of Wyatt's 7th grade basketball games, right? Sitting there getting ready to film and everything. All of a sudden, Matt comes walking into the gym, and I'm like, "What is Matt doing here?" Because Parker doesn't play basketball. Like Parker plays football and baseball. I don't know if he plays football anymore, but I'm like, why is Matt here? So he comes up and sits down next to Miss and I, and he's like, why are you? He's like, I drove the bus. What do you mean you drove the bus? He's like, well, I drove bus in college, and they're short bus drivers. So anybody, if you can drive a bus, the school district needs you, because they like had to cancel some things last year because they didn't have enough. So he's like, yeah, I'll drive. So they called him. Apparently all the bus drivers had a meeting or something. So 3:00 on a Tuesday, Matt's up at PV with us to get kids to basketball games.
Yep. He'll be missed.
Probably the only good story.
I like that story. I thought you said he drove the short bus.
So, Chris, I have to ask. You've sat here and you've listened to this. Do you have any regrets for like, yeah, you know what? I'll come down and talk with you guys. Any regrets yet? Scared to death?
0.
No.
He ain't scared.
You're not right. There's something not right.
No,
He ain't scared.
I'm from the south side of Chicago.
We were talking about a Chick-fil-A coming to Muscatine, but we don't need a Chick-fil-A. We got Capone Chicago style right across the street.
Yep.
Chris, welcome to the show. Thank you for giving us your time, and tell us a little bit about yourself. What brought you to Muscatine?
So my name's Chris Marsiglio. I'm from the south side of Chicago originally, born and raised. What brought me to Muscatine was a job offer with the H&I Corporation. And I was in the middle of the company I worked for was taking a buyout, and I accepted the buyout and left the company. And I had a friend that was opening up a restaurant in Bettendorf, and I came out to help him out for a weekend, and he said, hey, you don't have a job. There's this town down the road like 30 minutes, and he couldn't even say the name of the town. He struggled with the name Muscatine. He said, there's all these huge companies like tire manufacturing, furniture manufacturers, feed manufacturers. And we drove down 61. The first place we drove by was All Steel, Highway 61, across from Walmart. And I put an application in, and I left, and I got back in the car, and I said, I can't live in Iowa. So let's head back to Bettendorf. There's no way. And by the time I got home, I had a lot of phone calls from the H&I Corporation offering me a job. So I moved to Iowa.
What year was that?
It was 2020, or I'm sorry, 2005. 2005.
20 years ago.
Yep.
So 2005.
Wait, and we've only had Capones since when?
Since 2022.
Going on your third year.
Going on my third
So
year.
you waited 17 years to give us Capones.
Yeah. Yep.
What the heck? and I have to say, being down at this end of the street now, Capone's is literally right across the street. It's ridiculously handy.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
I eat there quite a bit. I'll stop in at least every couple of weeks. I'll stop in and grab something.
I appreciate that.
So Chris, walk us through. Okay, so everybody obviously knows the name Capone's. We all know what it refers to, right? But how did you end up saying, you know what, that's what I want to make the restaurant? Like, how did you get to the menu? Like, how does that all pull together?
So I all my family still lives in Chicago, so I went home very often because I have 4 boys. We wanted to make sure that we were seeing their aunts and uncles and their grandparents. So I'd go home often, and I just miss the food in Chicago. I think Chicago has some of the best food around. I've been to a lot of big cities, probably all the big cities in the U.S., and I can't find food as good as Chicago. So I've always kind of, since I've been here, I've always wanted to do this and just never seemed like I could do it. I never had the faith in myself to be able to do something like that, take on that responsibility and open up a restaurant. And I just did it with some help from Muscatine Downtown Investors. I mean, they helped me out, get me started, provided me a building, and set the building up to work for the restaurant that we're in.
So Brian, well, Danny, you don't count because you're not down at this end anymore. You're down with CBI at the middle of downtown.
Yeah, he moved uptown.
He moved uptown. You don't get to weigh in on this.
He's not in the hood anymore.
Uptown support free checking.
What do you get when you go?
What's that?
What do you get when you go over?
Well, they've got a chicken sandwich with some hot sauce and coleslaw on it. Now, I'm not a coleslaw guy, so I slipped the coleslaw, but I've gotten that. What's the other one with it's got the meat on it that's like a little hoagie sandwich?
The Italian beef?
Yeah, the
Chicago
Italian beef.
Italian beef.
I've gotten that a couple. It's huge. You really need somebody else to eat it with you. A lot of times, if I'm in and out, I'll go across the street on Thursdays and visit with the Republican group, and they have a meeting every Thursday at noon, and I'll jump in sometimes and just order some chicken strips and fries, and when they get done, I'll walk back over and get them. So I'm always eating something over there.
So I kind of vary between a couple of things. I'm a Euro guy, and like just the fact that we can get one in town, I'm ecstatic. Capone burger, of course, and you got to be brave for this one. I'll be honest. The jalapeno infused brisket, good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
And the place is pretty nice, but we're going to start putting a little bit more money in it. We're going to start redoing some floors throughout the place, and
yeah. And
we're
Chris,
gonna
the other
spend
Chris,
a little bit more money on the place.
the other Chris disappeared. Who knows? Did mural on the left wall as you come in, like the skyline. That's not his on the. I should have taken.
I
should have taken a picture.
It kind of looks like that.
That's pretty much what he used. And then just put his own spin on it.
He did. Yeah, no, it's cool. And I'll say this, folks, if you go in, make sure you give them a compliment on the menu on the TVs, because that's sharp as all get out.
Yeah, go over that menu a little bit, all the different items you got on it.
So really what I wanted to start was I wanted the small south side of Chicago mom and pop shops. There's some famous one like Johnny's and Al's, and I wanted a place like that. They very small menus. And there's some of my old neighborhood places that you get a hot dog, a beef, or a steamed tamale, and that was it. They didn't have any fancy sides or anything like that. Kind of what I wanted here. And I think the Italian beef, Chicago style Italian beef, is a wet sandwich.
Yeah.
We use all of our ingredients. We're using the same ingredients as they do in those small mom and pop shops in Chicago. We use all of our stuff. Our bread comes from Chicago. All our meats, our sport peppers, our giardiniera, it all comes from Chicago.
And you can tell, like when you sit with and it's like every time there's just a pile of food, folks. You are not going to leave hungry, but there's just a different aura of the food. Like, does that sound right? Like it's it's not just stuff that like came in off the truck. It's kind of like when you go to have Italian with Sammy, right? Of Italians, like it's just different, right? And that's what I think of when I have your stuff. So
your son and you got your family running the place, right?
Yep.
Your son and daughter.
My youngest son runs it, and my second oldest son's girlfriend works during the day and helps out. Yep. I started as Landon was sometimes lacks motivation, my youngest, and he would do summers for Sammy Vitale, and he seemed interested in the restaurant industry. So I'm like, that was also part of my motivation of the restaurant. I was like, hey, he's kind of fired up about the restaurant industry. Maybe it's my time to go ahead and open this and leave something for Landon, something he can do, something he can enjoy doing. Yeah. So he spends a lot of time there, and he doesn't complain at all.
No, and every time I go over, and usually it's like I've put the order in and like I'm flying in and out, but he's always in a good mood.
Yeah.
He's always like, hey, what else do you need? Like, and yeah,
they do a good job.
He doesn't enjoy doing shifts with me. He'd rather me not be there.
Well, he's probably the boss when he's there. When you're there, you're probably telling him what to do.
Yep.
I have the same problem with my son. We're out working on the farm all the time, and he's adamant whatever way I want. He's kind of like, I think I should have named him Chris. He's kind of like whatever I tell him to do that makes sense.
Handsome.
He wants to do it the opposite way,
Right.
because he wants to make it complicated.
Yeah.
But
Wait, no.
he's an engineer too. Engineers. Chris should have been an engineer also.
Overthink it?
He overthinks everything.
So, okay. Engineers overthink things, but let's just let Danny build a 17-story building and see if it stands up. I think I'm going to go with the engineer. No offense, right?
So you remember when we did Shop with a Cop down at the Armory? You went down, you did all the food for it, and that's how he got. I think you were new then, and
I was very new.
I went over there. I'm like, "Hey, Chris, you want to do food?" He's like, "Yep." And everybody, I never heard so many great compliments from.
It scared the crap out of me to do that event.
I was there that night. It was busy.
It scared me. I'm like, man, we're
in over your head.
Show poorly. We're brand new at this. We're not ready for the big time like this. But I thought we handled it pretty well.
It was great.
It went
You did a
pretty
great
well.
job, and everybody's like, "I didn't even know they were there. This is great," and I hope that helped. But Muscatine, do you do delivery now too, or is it?
Yep, we'll do delivery. Yep.
So you can get Capone's delivered.
And do you guys still? So my wife loves these, and I probably haven't taken one home recently enough. But what you did for the stroll, the little cheesecake, or was it like? Do you guys still do those?
Yep.
Tell people what those are, because
It's just a Bass cheesecake.
Okay.
We'll put fresh strawberries over the top of it and whipped cream. It's
It
I
a
haven't,
good little dessert.
I haven't had that.
And we got some raspberry chimichangas. These are deep fried.
Yeah.
Those are really delicious.
I'm gonna try one of those.
I know I took
they're
the one day I was over there when we were working on the menu or something. Landon pulled one of those out, and I'm like, "Oh, my wife loves cheesecake. I better take one of those home." And I told her, like, "Hey, I'm bringing you cheesecake home." And like normally she's like, "What'd you screw up, right?" But she's like, "Oh my god, this is good." Like, and she likes cheesecake, but she also is discerned. Like she's like, "No, this is good." Like she like devoured it.
Yeah, they're good.
It is good.
And I did realize it. I mean, I almost got rid of them because I'm like, never check the box, don't read the box. And then one day I'm like breaking down the box and I'm like, New York City. So I had to think twice if I'm going to keep selling it. New York City shit, but we're gonna go ahead.
Just
and
cross
continue
it
to sell
out. Just cross it out. It's all good.
At least it wasn't from China. But New York City, I can handle.
So
I got a funny story.
Folks,
when
if you only
working
heard
with
of
Brian, I was asking questions about, here's what I want to do. You jumped in right away, like, yeah, we could help out with the building, do things like that. And then I got locked in, and I started putting like little feelers out on social media. And one of the funny stories from when I first started this was I had a lot of negative publicity, like messages, people posted on there like, wow, you're naming a restaurant after a thug gangster. And it was like, hey, this ain't gonna work out for you. This is Muscatine, but where I'm from, he's a legend. I mean, Al Capone, you could thank him for having expiration date on your milk. His niece died of salmonella poisoning at 7 years old, so he had a lot of money. So he would go to the politicians and like, you're gonna put expiration dates on milk, and that's why we now have expiration dates on milk. Is Al Capone?
So we'll disregard the people that he whacked, and we got expiration people.
Well, but
we got milk that's safe.
well, and here's the thing, though. None of that has anything to do with your restaurant, but I can guarantee you this, and anybody that the whole reason, correct me if I'm wrong, is Capone and Chicago are 100% intertwined. Mm-hmm. Like about the only thing that could possibly be more Chicago are the Cubs, right?
Yep.
And hopefully not the Bears.
Yeah, they're moving out anyway. But I mean, obviously for trademark reasons, you can't call it Cubs. So Capone's, like it tells you exactly what you're getting, right? Yeah. Like I don't think anybody says, oh, you know what?
And America has a love for bad guys, whether it's Capone or whether it's Billy the Kid or whether it's Jesse James or Danny Chick. I mean, people they got a thing for bad guys.
You know, and I bet there's probably a long list that would put me there with you. Brian's probably the only one that wouldn't be on that list.
Yeah, let's. We're going to take a vote right now.
We are absolutely not taking a vote.
So, just so everybody's aware of your address and your hours, why don't you share that with everybody?
211 West 2nd Street here in great downtown Muscatine. Our hours are Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
So delivery is until
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
You can order online. You can
order online. Call the store.
Yep.
Our Toast app.
Are you pretty happy with your menu? Any new additions you're thinking about every once in a while?
We still got wings?
We have wings. I think we have some really great wings. We did launch a sandwich last Wednesday that, shameless plug, I've had for a meal 3 out of the last 5 nights. It's called a Rachel. Rachel is the pastrami version of a Reuben. So our sandwich comes with Toronto, Chicago bred rye, marble rye, half pound of pastrami, topped with coleslaw and Russian dressing.
Wait, hold on. Did you just say a half pound?
Half pound. It's a big sandwich.
That's like a whole family meal.
I know you're disappointed it's not 2 pounds, Chris, but
no, I know.
You just got to order 3 of them.
Yeah.
You realize that you just proved my point on everything. Everybody, you heard that. It's a half pound sandwich. He said 2 pounds and then said I needed to order 3 of them.
I did that on purpose. To see
no, you
I
did
do
not.
it on purpose to see if you were smart enough to catch it.
You absolutely did not. Oh my God.
But you have a website people can order online, or they go to an
our
app?
Toast app. We're working on. We have a website out there. We're not overly happy with it. We hired out, had a website built. I haven't even been on there since the first day I looked at it, and I was not pleased with it. So I'm working with another local provider to see if we can get a better website up. So more to come on a really good website.
We're talking about that tomorrow, right? Isn't that?
You got it.
Well, you saw the mock-up. I mean, I think
the mock-up was great.
I think
it would look.
I think.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Capone's going with the new website and new online order.
A new sandwich.
New sandwich. Even though you
sounds like I might even get some new floors in there. Huh?
We're gonna work on it.
Just get.
I was in the other day, I think we're gonna start in the bathroom and work into the kitchen. I got my guys gonna check it out.
I will say I've been well taken care of by Muscatine Downtown investors, and you guys have done great. I really appreciate all the support that I've got since I've opened up. It's been amazing.
I'm surprised you're still getting that kind of care now that I'm not there. Just putting that out there.
I would agree
now, when
with
Brian
that.
Was there, you're falling through the bathroom floor. I'm going to look into him and put some new floor in.
He's like, I'll call you back.
If this isn't Muscatine, I don't know what is.
So is there any way possible, like, if you do a new menu, we can get like the 2 chicks burger? Or the 2 chick sandwich. We'd add Chris
hype it up.
I guess it'd have to be 3 pounds.
Or 2.5. Just let Danny do the math on it.
2.5 pounds, that's 4 times.
We're going to see our real fans if we get the 2 chick and a Chris sandwich.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you guys, if it's good, it'll make some
money. What would we put on it?
Huh?
What would we put on it?
Well, we're gonna let you, how would you design a 2 chick and a Chris sandwich?
Okay. Wait, can I pitch my favorite Chicago meal I've ever had? I was at I'm going to have to call Jeff and ask where we were, but it was somewhere near Wrigley. It was under a train track, and it was like a Harley bar kind of place. I had the best, when they put like eggs on burgers, like over easy, best one ever. That's my vote.
We're not going with that because I don't like agreeing with him, but we'll come up with something good.
Like what would be your design sandwich?
There's a place called, I think you might be talking about Kuma's Corner, possibly.
That actually does sound kind of familiar.
Yeah, they do some of, they're probably most famous for burgers in Chicago. And they actually have one that I think might fit. They have one it's a burger. It's a half-pound burger. It comes with a chicken cutlet on the top of it. It's got bacon on it. I mean, this sandwich is just massive. And you would think it sounds terrible, but it's actually a really good sandwich.
Yep, we're gonna have it. 2 chicks and a
It's
crisp.
a chicken cutlet on top of a
He
burger.
must have went over and
Here's-
got one.
Did you get one?
So we could slice. Here
Can you,
we
like,
go.
display it through the
Slice the chicken like in half and put one on top and one on the bottom.
With a
and
burger
then
in the middle?
actually got 2 chicks.
Yeah, with a burger in the middle. That'd be you.
No. Wait, no. I am not sure. I think that may be the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life. I'm pretty sure that is the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life.
Anyway, thank you for bringing Capone's to Muscatine. We
appreciate that.
love growth downtown. It's very fitting for.
So Chris just ran over. He disappeared. Now we
Give
need
it in
to-
there. We'll show.
Yeah.
I'll hold it for a minute. I won't eat none of it. Look at what we got here.
that is quality.
That's a
Look at
Chicago
that!
dog.
Look at that sesame seed bun and
Dude, those are so good.
look at that.
All the peppers and the pickles and the
All from Chicago.
onions, tomatoes.
Danny, hold it. Like tilt it forward, like towards the camera. There
I'll
you
drop
go.
it on the
We're
floor.
gonna get. We're
You
gonna
want me to
get
drop it on the floor?
No, you could use 2 hands.
I even
Danny.
smell it. That smells like sweet pickles.
Sweet relish.
Yeah.
One of these
There
days,
you
you're
go,
gonna
right
figure out
there.
what it's like to
There
be
you
on
go,
TV.
Capone's.
That's what
Yeah.
you're missing out on.
Make
folks.
sure you try. If you haven't tried Capone's, you try Capone's. You will not be disappointed.
Tell him Chris sent you, not a chick.
Yeah, if you
You'll get
get
treated
the
way
chicken cut in half with the burger, Chris.
I am never gonna live that now.
But anyway, thanks a lot for bringing Capone's to Muscatine, and thanks for being on the show. We ask everyone, do you like roundabouts?
Do I like roundabouts?
He's from Chicago. He probably goes straight through them.
We had one in my old neighborhood. It was an 8-corner roundabout, and it was just there to stop drunk people.
So, what is your approach going into one?
Quick
Speed
look
up,
left.
slow-
If you're not near me, I'm going.
Yeah,
You're my kind of guy.
You better not be tapping the brakes because I'll get
You're
that gives
hitting
me an
us.
opportunity to get in there.
You know, I
getting
just
in there.
about T-boned somebody a week ago. I'm going
Brian,
around from this way, and I'm looping around to go like what would be left out Mulberry, I'm cruising around, and just literally pulls right in front of me. Like,
what time was it? Was it?
no,
It wasn't a black truck, was it?
no, it wasn't. No, if it was you, I would. No, it was a little car. I'm like,
What about back in parking on Mississippi Drive?
I think it's terrible.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of it. You're talking about up here by the.
I had a gal the other day.
Talking about
Yeah,
you know how they back in.
I had a gal the other
Yeah.
day that came from the cities to show the new building,
Yeah.
and she pulled in, and I look out, and she's messing around. She jerked all the way around and pulls in frontwards. She gets all the way up to me, and I said, "You realize that's back in parking?" She said, "That's stupid. I'm not doing that." She pulled in frontwards. She had a heck of a time getting backed out, but she did it.
I mean, there's a lot of drivers that. Maybe I'm just my luck, but it seems like every time I'm driving down there and there is someone backing in, they're not a very skilled driver, so I'm just sitting there waiting for them to 3 or 4 times to finally get their car into that backed in spot. So I'm not a huge
Perfect.
fan.
Did I ask all my normal questions?
I think so.
all the
Am I
ones
not
that
getting one on
matter.
parking meters?
You like parking meters?
Don't like parking meters.
Like,
Don't like them.
We were gonna let you off the hook,
but
with
they
that.
help flower pots out there. Do you understand that?
Yeah, just whatever you do, don't try and use that MPay app because you can have the app on your phone. You can scan the QR code and it'll say, you don't have an app on your phone that'll do this.
That happened the other day. I had a meeting in the office with some elevator guys, and they came in and he got the app up, didn't have any change. He says, asked me if I knew how to run it because he didn't have any time in the meter. I said, I don't know how to figure it out. I said, it only costs $5.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. But anyway,
So,
But it wouldn't work. His phone wouldn't work on the app or whatever reason.
I don't. Muscatine's got it figured out. That's all. I
because
gotta say.
we
we got it figured out. You know why? Because we are Muscatine, right? We're gonna get out of here. This show's about over.
We are Muscatine. Brian developed it, right? About 6-8 months ago. Brian?
yeah, that's that. I mean, I'm sure somebody back in the, Cenozoic era or something maybe said it, but I mean, as far as I've seen,
I think originally if you go down to Tantera, it's on their door. it says We Are Muscatine on Tantera.
It might, because I mean, that was like a
David
big.
Riggins actually owns We Are Muscatine.
Well, I mean, that was like a big thing. It started with like We Are
David,
Penn
yeah.
State. We Are, like, a lot of the colleges did it. You know, they were like college like things, and then, you know, like everybody did it, and you've been using it since we started.
It's just so catchy. You know why? Because we're born and raised where we're from. But now you can be Muscatine too.
Yeah.
We are Muscatine. Have a good evening.
That's a wrap on this episode of Two Chicks and a Chris. Make sure to follow, subscribe, and tell your friends, especially if they live in Muscatine and like questionable opinions. We'll catch you next time on Two Chicks and a Chris.